Hello, it's Saturday, August 12th, 2017, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Wow, I don't know why. It feels like a long time since I've recorded a show, but I guess it's been, 2 weeks for a solo show. I put up that last episode with my friend Scott, and I hope you all like that. I haven't received any feedback on it. If you have a comment, if you have a concern about the show, let me know. You know, I don't want to be putting out stuff that nobody enjoys or finds value in listening to. But I do have a few more kind of interview style co-hosted podcasts on the agenda above and beyond what I hope to do with Nora. So let me know if enough of you think it's good, then great. If enough of you think it's then maybe I'll curb it after what I already have committed to. So I got an email from my friend Katie, I apologize, down in Australia, and she asked me a question in it, and after reading it and reading through her email, I decided I wanted to try to answer it in podcast form. I emailed her back, said, hey, would this be okay? She said, sure, why not? So here we are. So after the quick break, I will let you guys know what the email is about and kind of dive into it. We'll see how that goes. Before we do that, I want to remind you can get a hold of me. You can email me at jamoalki@gmail.com, facebook.com/jamoalki, @jamoalki on Twitter, www.jamoalki.info. That's JAMOALKI. And also you can drop me a text at 248-648-1419, 248-648-1419. Drop me a line. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's bouncing around inside your head. Maybe we can be friends. Yeah, that's it for that. So let's jump right to it. So what Katie asked was she was listening to someone tell their story about being in an accident and nearly dying and kind of what it was like for them post nearly dying via an accident. And so she asked me, she was wondering, she said, and I'll quote, when you first woke up in hospital after your suicide attempt and you realized where you were and remembered what you did, how did you feel in that moment? And then in parentheses, before the guilt relating to worried relatives, etc. set in. Were you angry, disappointed, thankful, etc.? So we are going to take a little trip back to December and January 2014 and 15, respectively. I asked my mom, I asked Nora, I asked Dave, and I asked my ex-wife if they would be willing to drop me a line and let me know what they remember from those days. And big spoiler alert, the reason was I don't remember much about those days, which isn't a surprise to anyone, I'm sure, who has listened to this show. So yeah, hopefully I can get this all out in story form. It might be a little choppy. I apologize ahead of time. But yeah, here we go. Let's step into the Wayback Machine and take a visit to Christmas 2014. So what I got for that is from my mom. She was talking about, we had a tradition where they would come to our house, being my ex-wife and I and all the girls, on Christmas Day, and they would bring presents for the girls. We would give them their gifts and etc. And my mom wrote me and said that I was very, very quiet on Christmas Day. She thought I didn't look good. In the middle of kind of socializing and whatnot, I announced I was going to take a nap, which was something that she says she wasn't used to seeing me do. Although I know recently, within the past 2 years, I've started using that as as an evasive device of the holidays, and kind of socializing can be quite taxing on me, and I will feel a little bit tired, and I will partake in the holiday nap, which so many folks do partake in, mostly so I could have an hour and a half of not having to socialize. But that was notable to her that I did do that. And so she was kind of worried, and there was discussion about whether or not I was taking my medication at that point. And while I do have a bad memory, I don't recall stopping medication. In fact, I was still kind of hopeful at that point that the Wellbutrin was going to be beneficial to me. And I do remember being down and not being very, it was a really rough time for me then. And that would have been just a week and a half after I had stopped going to work, my leave of absence. I mean, it's fair to say that I was feeling down and not at all Christmassy, we'll say. And so then we jump ahead to, and some of this I've discussed already on the show, and I apologize, but I'm just trying to get back into that time. So, I don't remember a lot between, say, Christmas and the day of January 21st. I remember that there was a new puppy in the house, that Nora had given my girls a puppy, which they adored and loved, and it was a fantastic gift. But as I was home all the time, I kind of took it upon myself to take care of the puppy a bit. And so I remember that being a puppy and playing with a puppy, and started calling the puppy Dummy, which I still do to this day. And the only other thing I remember during that time, aside from the puppy, is that I was researching ways to kill myself, lots of different ways. And I think I touched on this a little bit with Scott last episode. But those are the only things I remember. I don't remember talking with Nora. Nora and I would Facebook message a lot. I don't remember any of those conversations. As I'm sitting here talking, I remember I had a love seat in my bedroom, which had a pull-out bed in it, and I went whole hog on the depressed lifestyle, and I pulled out the hide-a-bed, and it was right in front of the big TV that I use as a computer screen, but also doubled as a cable TV. And I spent a lot of time watching Netflix movies and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I remember. And then some information that I got from Dave. So then one of the remarkable things about Dave is that he never throws anything away. And so he's got like little scraps of paper from, talks we had. But he sent me a screenshot of a text message that I sent him on what looks like to be Tuesday the 20th. So the day before I tried killing myself. And he asked, everything okay your way? And I replied, in quotes, I'm still not working. I'm on 2 different medications. I almost went to the hospital for help today. Can't pay any bills. I'm supposed to go see Nora tomorrow, but I've got 2 lists. One to go visit and one to just keep driving. But at least we have a puppy in the house. I don't know what that, I know what a message like that would sound like to me today. I don't know necessarily what that message seemed like for Dave on that day. He said the first thing he did when we signed off of the text messaging was he took out a check and he signed it and addressed it to me and left it blank. And, he says that he knows it's not the best way to have helped me or to have tried to help me, but that's the kind of guy he is. If, he had a way to help, and, if it was money that was holding me back from getting help, then he was going to be there and assist me with that. So that's the 20th. And I went back and I looked at my calendar for those days. The 21st at 8:45, I had a doctor's appointment, which was undoubtedly follow-up for medication. I don't remember having that. I'm going to say I didn't go based upon the other events of what I know and what I've found out about the next day, the 21st. So, like I said before, the morning of the 21st, got up, took my kids to school, went home, emptied everything out of my wallet, all that kind of stuff. And then we jump ahead to that evening when I'm doing the overdosing. And something that I didn't realize until I started getting information from Dave and my ex and my mom, something that had never really come up in talking with Nora, is that the 22nd, so the night of the 21st and the 22nd are lost days for me. I didn't realize it wasn't till the morning of Friday the 23rd that was the morning when I realized, hey, I've got to call somebody. And I called Dave. So, that was kind of surprising to me that the whole day is gone. I don't remember. I vaguely remember, I guess, being in and out, but, for the sake of answering Katie's question, we'll start on the 23rd. So 40 hours, 36 hours after my attempt is when we could say that I was cognizant enough of what was going on. So as I should be able to answer. Katie, I don't remember having any particular feeling about disappointment or elatement about having failed. I don't remember having any feelings of guilt over having put other people through. The way I remember it was that just like planning for the suicide and carrying out those steps was taking out the trash, it was just life. It was just, okay, I'm in the hospital. Okay, I've got to go to the psych ward, as so-called, the mental health area, and spend some time there and then get out. And that was what the next minute, the next hour, the next day called for. And that's what I did. I was admitted to the mental health area, which Nora said was in a completely separate building, not even on the same campus. I don't remember how I got there. I don't remember that at all. Once I was situated there, Dave came out to see me, and I don't remember that at all. My folks came out to see me, and I don't remember that. Nora came out to see me, but I only remember that because we've talked about it. I don't have any first run memories of that. I remember there was a story about her buying me some shorts because I needed more comfortable shorts. But that's it. I don't remember a conversation that we had. And to be honest, I don't know if it hadn't been part of our discussions and part of the discussion in recalling that time, I don't know that I would know that Nora was there. So, to ask if I felt anything afterwards, I guess it's fair to say, I guess I wouldn't remember, but what I do remember was it was just that, okay, this is my life today. I'm in the hospital. This is my life. The next day I'm locked in the mental health area of the hospital. I talked to a psychiatrist, and he's going to give me different medications because what I was on clearly didn't work. I'm in an area with other people who are dealing with mental health issues, people who were dealing with things that I didn't know anything about. So I guess that was interesting to me, and I talked to them. I remember interacting with some folks. I don't remember individual stories or anything like that. So then I guess the question is, what do I feel now about it? And for the most part, I This will make me sound like a real jackass. Return of the jackass here. I don't feel any guilt or remorse for what I put people through, what Dave and my ex and my mom and Nora went through. I have emails here where my mom is saying she was, up all night crying, that when I was found, my brother went to my folks' house and they were all crying in tears of joy that I was okay. My ex struggling with trying to figure out first where I might be and were the kids okay, because she was out of town those days. And when Nora got a hold of her saying I was missing, she didn't know what was going on with the kids. If did I take my little ones with me? Did I get them off to school okay? She didn't know those things on the day of the 21st. And then as more information came about and the credit cards on the desk, and then there was a little bit of sleuth work done. I might have mentioned this before. Nora had the idea to check my cell phone records, and as my ex and I were still married and I was on her account, she could easily do that. And there was a odd, strange number in the text messages, and she gave that to Nora. Nora called that number. It was some woman who was really confused. She had responded to me that I had put a post on Craigslist saying that I was planning to overdose. And Nora searched. She found the Craigslist post, and from that point on, my ex was certain that I was either dead or well on my way to being so. And so now she had the responsibility of what about the girls? What are they going to think? How do you start telling little ones and older ones about this? She said my little ones were a little bit upset that I hadn't texted them like I said I would text them on the 21st. And at this time, both of them were using iPods as phones without the phone. So we would text on Google Hangouts. And I'm not sure all the details, but my ex made up a new account being me, using a picture of me and Nora to send my girls messages, just to kind of, I don't know, to allay their fears for a little bit, or concerns. I guess they weren't afraid of anything, but they were, upset that they hadn't heard from me. So, my ex-wife is making up different new accounts to appease and to make my little girls feel better while she's trying to figure out where I am, if I'm alive. She's, crying and throwing up. Dave is, dropping work and driving across the state of Michigan to come see me. Nora is, we never talked about specifics, but I know that she was in tears all the time. She wasn't eating. She was, 11 hours away by car. And as soon as Dave got a hold of her, which would have been 6:30 that Friday, 5:30 Minnesota time, she dropped everything and she hopped in a car to drive to Michigan. And there were plans for, looking at the calendar, there were plans for us, the two of us and the boy, to go to a Timberwolves game that night. And so she had two little ones here that she was fortunate enough to be able to bring over to their dads and leave. Called work kind of on the way, saying, "Hey, I gotta go." And so she drove whatever it was, 11 hours, probably straight. Probably stopped to pee and get a coffee, and that was it. So when I was reading these things, I started to feel a little, just the smallest little bit emotional about it. Like, wow, I hadn't really thought of these things affecting people like this. And that lasted like a minute. And then it's jackass in me again. It changed pretty quickly to I don't deserve that kind of reaction from them, that, I'm not worth that kind of mental anguish. And I wish they hadn't gone through it. But it's almost like, because I don't believe that I'm worthy of that from anybody. I can't understand how people would feel that way. And because I don't understand it, I just am kind of numb to it. And, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to say this so I don't sound like the world's biggest jerk. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I have no idea how they would feel about it, knowing that I have this absolute lack of feeling and emotion about it. Dave listens to the show, so he's hearing it right now. I don't know that my folks would ever get to hear it. Nora and I have talked about it a little bit, and she gets how I'm emotionally stunted for everything right now. But I don't know. Is this stigma here? Is this me blaming myself for something? But I don't know. Do I have an obligation to feel guilty for it? Do I have an obligation to myself to understand that I wasn't in a proper state of mind at that time? And so while I maybe it's appropriate to feel badly about it, but not guilty, I don't necessarily feel that. I don't know. Katie, a lot of this is colored by my inability to affect emotions, to really be in touch with my emotions. And that's another episode. So yeah, the rambling answer is that I didn't think of anything when I was in the hospital. I didn't feel anything when I was in the hospital. I was just figuring out what to do next. Okay, I'm in the hospital, and okay, what's the next step? Okay, mental health ward. Okay, how do I get out of here? Okay, now I'm out. What do I do? Go to Minnesota with Nora. Okay, how do I talk to my girls about that? Okay, now I'm in Minnesota. What do I do? Try to get more help. Okay. It sounds like a little bit like a survival mode, but I don't know that that's an accurate phrase to use. I don't know if that's right or not. I don't know. Right now I'm thinking that, wondering how many years it's been that I've just been, okay, what do I do now? And what is going to happen now? And that's what I do. Yeah, I don't know. Katie, I'm not sure I answered your question. Everybody else, hopefully I didn't. Hopefully this wasn't as boring as it seems. Yeah, I don't know. Drop me a line. Let me know what's going on. It's funny, I thought this was going to be a super long episode. But it turns out when you're talking about a mundane view of things that happened, there's not a lot to say. So yeah, till next time, everybody be safe and be well.